This week on Doctor's Diary, where you get to know more about your healthcare professional, we talk to the president of Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, whose passion entails equipping and empowering credible leaders. My name is Gloria Milimu, and this is his story. Hello. Well, thank you very much, Daktari, for having us and for giving us an opportunity to know more about you. So you wear many hats. Maybe if you can just start by telling us who is Dr. Machogu.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Dr. Louis Machogu. I'm a pharmacist. I like to think of myself as a multicultural Kenyan. Yeah. Why do I say that? I was born in Kisii, and I'll explain why I stress on the following. I was born in Nyaribari, Masaba constituency. I grew up in Kisauni constituency in Mombasa County. I also, when my parents retired, I also was able to grow up in Kilifi. That's in Twapa, in Kilifi County. I have studied in Eldoret North constituency, in Uasin Gishu. I have studied in Vita constituency in Mombasa. I studied in Dagoretti, both Dagorettis, North and South, in Nairobi County. I've worked in Vita constituency in Coast General in Mombasa. I've also worked in Samburu. I will not lie and say that I always wanted to be a pharmacist, a healthcare worker. Because I believe you are shaped by the circumstances you grow in. Someone maybe met a loved one who had cancer, then they wanted to be a healthcare provider. So for me, it was a bit different. Yeah. I grew up in a dairy farm. My dad was a dairy farmer. He retired to be a dairy farmer in Kilifi. So I used to sell milk. Yeah. My mom, on the other hand, had a salon. So after selling milk, I'll go hang out in the salon. So actually, when I finished my high school, I wanted to become a hairdresser. Yeah. So I applied. I got the documents from Pivot College. That was in 2000. Got the documents from Pivot College. But when I got home, it wasn't able to resonate with my parents. Yeah. So they said, okay, we have bigger dreams for you. Have you ever heard of pharmacy? I never heard of pharmacy. So they brought me the forms, I was able to apply, and I was called to the School of Pharmacy at the University of Nairobi. Initially, I didn't like it because my passion was in, empowering dairy farmers. Actually, I'd written a business planning competition. I think those days it was in the Business Daily, and we were able to become the top 100 people who were, our concepts were picked up to, to fund. But at that time, I was just told, no, you go. You can't be a farmer, a peasant farmer like us. Go and get an education, then come back. We see what happens. So yeah, so I ended up in the School of Pharmacy in 2001 and left there in 2005. Yeah. So that's really, it was accidental for me. If I'm honest as well, it was a way of getting a marketable course as well. Yeah. But as I went through the course, I was able to see my gifts and how I can be of use to the public. I remember sitting down with my dad and, I'm really angry because this is a course you've chosen for me. It's not really what I want. I really wanted to do hairdressing so that I can have a chain of salons, health and wellness, beauty, because those things are key in, in our communities. So I remember my dad sitting down and just saying, okay, so you go do pharmacy. In the 4 or 5 years you're there, figure out what are you discovering about yourself, yeah? What are you discovering about yourself? Who do you want to help, yeah? What value can you bring to the marketplace so that my dad was a HR manager, so what value can you bring to the marketplace so that the public can pay you for it? Yeah, I said, okay, makes sense. So I went to university, and pharmacy for me was an eye-opener. I got to interact with the, A students, because pharmacy school picks the A students in the, its points are higher than even medicine. So when I went to the School of Pharmacy, I was really challenged. I was challenged because there were people who were so clear on who they want to help. So I only wanted to help myself because I wanted to be wealthy and be able to escape poverty and things like that. Yeah. But then I started understanding that these skills that I had, or the education I'm getting, could be of use to other people. So drug discovery, supply chain security, and it's really even influenced some of the work that I do right now around advocating and building supply chain secure systems, especially in the age of COVID. There are no longer medicines coming freely. So how can we make Kenya more supply chain secure? Yeah.
So Daktari, how has your leadership journey been like, and what lessons have you been able to pick from it?
For me, the pharmacy career has really been my leadership journey. And if you allow me to break it down into 3 parts, yeah? So I'll start with the under 25 years, yeah? When I was 25 years and below. So that's where I learned of the career, pharmacy. I'd never heard of it before, yeah? When I went to the School of Pharmacy, I was able to know what a pharmacist actually does. They are the ones who discover medicine, manufacture it, distribute it, ensure that it's available. They also do clinical trials, and it's a whole world out there, yeah? So for me, what really resonated with my heart was I could actually run a community pharmacy where I see patients and improve the value of their care. So when I was posted to Mararal as a district pharmacist, so I was working in the Mararal District Hospital in those days before devolution. So I'm in Mararal and I'm here with patients. They are extremely needy. You are talking to a patient, they stop taking their hypertensive medicine because it affects their libido, for example. No one has sat down with them to discuss and see, can we replace? Someone stopped taking their hypertensive medicine because they bedwet at night. Yeah? No one sat down to tell them that you can actually take the medicine in the morning and not at night. So I could see that the impact I could have. But I'm in this small place in Marara, and my people are in Kisii, my people are in Mombasa, and even yes, there are people in Samburu, but I'm wondering, how can I multiply this? So that's when the idea of having a chain of pharmacy came up. And before the idea of chain pharmacy came in, if you remember, the president those days was Kibaki, His Excellency Kibaki. He came up with this idea of a vision 2030. I had never heard of a vision. So I'm this young person, all I want to do is make money, and I'm feeling that I want to help people. But then His Excellency the President comes up with a vision 2030. Then I'm seeing the vision, and actually I'm learning that you have to have a plan. I had never heard of strategic planning and things like that. So I was able to take that cue from the president and see, what can I do? So I started seeing a vision of a chain of pharmacies. Remember, I'm in Mararal. I don't even have one pharmacy, yeah? So, and that's under my 25-year journey, yeah? So at that point is when I moved, I quit my job and went and got a job in Nairobi so that I could start a pharmacy, yeah, on the side. Yeah. So I started a side also. Where I was employed, I was able to be trained, equipped on how to manage things. Yeah, so how to manage a pharmacy and things like that. Then the lessons I learned, I put it in the pharmacy. Then we started with 1 pharmacy. The next thing we had 5 pharmacies. The next thing we had 52 pharmacies. We had the largest chain of pharmacies. I founded that in 2007 until when I left it. It had a presence in 24 counties. And the reason why it had such a pervasive presence was because of that whole experience. I've been able to live in different counties in this country, be able to understand the local needs. So we were the first chain of pharmacies to move to the peri-urban areas. So that's my first season of leadership. So in that season, I learned that, you know what, whatever you're thrown at, fold your sleeves, get in there. You remember I didn't want to do pharmacy, but now I've discovered myself in pharmacy, that actually I have people I can help across the country, because now I'm able to build a chain of pharmacy. So by the time I was quitting, I had 1 pharmacy, and that's when I was 25 years. So the next season is when I was between 25 years and 35 years. That season for me was a season of, what can I say, entrepreneurship. So remember, I saw a vision and her plan. So I came up with a plan of having a chain of pharmacies, and we were able to grow to 5 pharmacies. We started, I remember, we started the first online pharmacy. Then the next thing, we were able to attract private equity investors, and these were able to help us to scale to 52 pharmacies. So for me, it was, I took so much pride in being able to go to Eldoret, open a pharmacy there, in Twapa, opening a pharmacy where I grew up, yeah, in Kisauni, opening a pharmacy. And for me, what I was giving is I was giving Kenyans an opportunity to have a care that gives them dignity, yeah, and empowers them, because we have a lot of patients who are out there, yeah, all they got was a prescription. So year in, year out, they're taking a prescription, but they're taking the medicine upside down. Yeah, no one is tracking, are they really improving? So that's what a community pharmacist does, and that's really was a passion that I had. Yeah. So in that season of the next 10 years, I really was a lone ranger. I just went in there, young, you know, built a chain of pharmacies. Of course, with that, some things are bound to go wrong. So I entered wrong partnerships, and I had to sell my company. Yeah. So I remember selling the company, turning 35, selling the company, and really feeling really low. Yeah. Yes, I have money in my pocket, but you know, the vision has sort of disappeared. So what would I do next? Yeah. And that's now the next season, my above 35 years old. Yeah. So I took time out just to go figure out, to assess how far have I come. At that time, I think I found that the pain point I really had was the issue around leadership. Yeah, I could look back and say the reason why the vision didn't become is because I, as a leader, didn't step up. But who taught me how to be a leader? So I went back to school to study leadership. And in leadership school, I remember being challenged, go look for 3 leaders out there that you can serve. And also look for a platform where you can serve people and empower people. So that's where I was introduced to the concept of a leader is someone who leads people willingly. People willingly follow him out of trust, yeah, because they get empowered. And then they also want to be better leaders by going and multiplying themselves. So having multiplied the chain of pharmacy, remember I had a desire to have equitable, good healthcare in the rural areas and peri-urban areas, yeah? But I couldn't do that by myself, so I had to build a chain. So equally, when I came and found that, okay, the biggest challenge in Kenya right now, and it affects all sectors, is leadership, yeah? We have a leadership gap, a huge leadership gap, yeah? So what do I want to do about that? So I went, looked for leaders, looked for areas. I had wanted to serve because I really wanted to become a member of parliament of Dagoretti North, yeah? But then again, that would just be me. Yeah, so I said, okay, let me take a step back. I looked for someone else to serve. I couldn't get a member of parliament. I was even looking to serve as a PA, for example. So where did I get people who wanted to be served in the church? So I found a couple of pastors who wanted to, you know, someone to help them with developing programs and things like that. So we developed programs around marriage, parenting, and entrepreneurship, managing finances. So we were able to build that. The next thing, I was asked to get a platform. And that's when I ran as the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. So right now, I've just got re-elected for my 2nd term. So when I came in, the first thing I had to do was build trust. Because you are here, you know, people are so skeptical about leaders. Yeah, they think you're going to come and eat their money and things like that. So the first thing I had to do was roll up my sleeves, look at what's the biggest need. At that time, pharmacists were not being employed, and even other healthcare workers. Unlike during my time. So I identified young pharmacists who were unemployed and had an interest in pharmacy, community pharmacy. So I was able to invest in their pharmacies, but quickly I realized they don't need money. Yeah, they actually needed to be coached and mentored. So that's when now I started accepting them in like cohorts of 10-10 and working with them. And having them as peers empower each other and challenge each other. So I do that as a hobby. I work with them. And I think that really helped me. It's on that platform I was elected as the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, because I found a place where I could serve. And people actually trusted me because of that. But then the next challenge was I had I call it my big 3 vision. Yeah? The first one is we need to get healthcare workers in parliament. We actually need to get professionals in parliament. Yeah? Why do I say that? All Kenyans give anyone in the world, we have a social contract with professionals. Whether you're a journalist, whether you're a healthcare worker, you're a lawyer, we delegate our mandate. So when you put me under anesthesia, I have gone to sleep and I trust you to do what you need to do to get me well. Yeah? If you're a lawyer, you're doing my transactions, I trust you. Yeah? If you're a journalist, I'm speaking with you, I trust that you pass on the message. Yeah? So we went back and said, okay, from where we are, pharmacists, the biggest challenge we have, in those days, we started seeing individual member of parliaments with certain interests amending the KEMSA Act, for example. The reason why KEMSA is where it is right now is because someone was mutilating the act for their selfish interests. So we said, okay, so what do? We owe it to Kenyans to be inside there, not be outside there with Kenyans, just throwing our hands in despair. So the first mandate was, how can we get pharmacists into parliament? So 4 years ago, we started thinking about that. It was a bit far-fetched, but I can say today we have 15 pharmacists who have offered themselves, yeah, to be empowered by peers, kept accountable by peers, yeah, and they are going to run for member of parliament, member of county assembly, and county governors. So we have 2 county governors, we have 6 MCAs, and the rest are MPs. Yeah? So these are pharmacists who are saying, we are tired of being out here, and the public comes and blames us for problems in the healthcare sector, but policies are made nationally. So that's what we are doing. So that's the first agenda that we're doing. And I'm really proud that we've come that far. And it takes trust to be able to reach there. So we're telling the public, you trust us, the same way you trust us with your healthcare. How can you trust us so that because even if this leader goes and fails, you come point your finger at us as a fraternity of pharmacists. Yeah? We will help them, maybe rehabilitate them, or keep them accountable. Yeah? That will be our work. The same way we took a social contract that will take care of your healthcare, we also take a social contract that will offer leaders that we have vetted, peer-reviewed, peer-empowered, and provide peer accountability. Yeah. I was first elected as the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya in 2017. Yeah. Remember, I just stepped down from running my chain of pharmacies. I'd gone and studied leadership, which I was still studying at that time. And I was looking for a platform to serve from. Yeah. You know, you can't just go serve nationally, just serve locally where you are. So I found a local community, which is a community of pharmacists. So in 2017, I was elected. My first term ended just this year. We did elections where I was given a mandate again for the next 3 years. The mandate is just around, you know, how can you raise the profile of pharmacists in this country? Yeah, and that takes me to what does PSK do? So PSK is a professional umbrella body of pharmacists. The best example I can say is like LSK is to lawyers, yeah, or Kenya Medical Association is to medical officers. So Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya is the umbrella body of pharmacists. We have over 4,000 members, yeah, who are pharmacists practicing in Kenya. Some of them are abroad. Our mandate is to influence policy. So far how have we been influencing policy? We've been writing policy papers. So you've seen us on media writing opinion ads, or you've seen us you know, in parliament through stakeholder engagement, where we educate parliamentarians around, you know, what's really this law that they're about to make, what's the impact, or what's the best way, what's the best practice? Yeah, where is the ethics, where's the professionalism? So that's really what we do as professionals. So we are bound by a code of ethics and honor, where we say we will hold ourselves above this normal society rules and regulations, but above that, yeah, because we hold lives. You know, we are the ones who you know, give you the medicine at the end, you know, after you've seen because 90% of patients have to leave the hospital with the medicine. So we are the person who you see at the end, yeah. And so ours is to educate those pharmacists, empower them, and shape policies that allow them to be the best that they can be.
Away from work, who is Dr. Machogu, and what does he like doing during his spare time?
What do I do during my spare time? That's a good question. I got to have a lot of spare time once I stepped down as the CEO of the company I founded, Halton's Pharmacy. Yeah, I stepped down, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time. Before then, I had never taken even leave. I had worked for like nearly 10, 12 years, just non-stop. So I didn't even have a social life. Yeah. Yes, I got married in between. My wife is a pharmacist as well. We have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy, and so once I started hanging out with them, I started realizing, oh my God, we are talking about these are the children who are going to be leaders of tomorrow. But when you look and see the leaders that are there right now, you know, I can't even invite any of them to my house to show this is what I want you to become. Yeah. So I do a lot of work around leadership development. So where we empower you know, people around parenting, around marriage, and around just, you know, work, career, yeah? And this all just under the umbrella of, you know, empowered people leads to empowered communities. So you'll find me in my spare time, I'm with my children, my wife. If you're not there, I'm either serving somewhere. You know, I'm facilitating a program where we're empowering a group of either couples, or we're empowering them about how money works as a couple. What's the vision of a family that they can have? How can they work together with their money, you know, and their dreams and things like that. And on the other side, young leaders, and empowering them on just, you know, business. Yeah, because we are finding there's no employment. You know, how can they do business? How can they work for someone else? Yeah, even if they have a business idea, first you have to take time and learn processes and systems. Yeah, so I do a lot of that. Yeah, so in my spare time, that's what I really do. I enjoy just spending time with family and spending time with people. My personality is where I just like hanging out with people. Yeah.
How do you balance between work and family?
I like to call it, I don't like calling it work-life balance, I call it work-life integration. So you find that any leader has, and I actually teach about this, I teach about intentional leadership, yeah? Where you have to be intentional about, you know, the life you want. So initially when I used to run the chain of pharmacies, I had only one focus, yeah? To get wealthy and to run away from poverty, which is the same thing. And I didn't have time for anything else. Yeah, my children, I would come home, I'm tired. Sometimes I'm angry and things like that. Yeah, it wasn't really good. Yeah, so I was really feeling stretched. So flip that to where I am right now. I became intentional. I said, what do I want to do? What do I want to do less of? And what do I want to do more of? So I was able to see I want to do more of the things around empowering people, and do less of the things around, you know, being the one to do the things myself. So I do a lot of delegation, empowering people. So you'll never find me working alone. Yeah, you'll find I have a team of people who, again, I've sold a vision to them. And actually, it's a team of volunteers. Actually, you know, because this work we do is a volunteer work. Yeah, people who you can actually inspire to see what leadership growth areas do they have, and how are they best suited serving under you. Yeah, so, and that's really been able to open my time. I'm a person of faith as well, so you'll find me meditating on the word and just encouraging myself, because you can't work on this thing alone. So you also find me working with other leaders. So I usually look, whatever big goal I have, who else has gone ahead of me, or who else has achieved it, or is going there, and actually invite them to my home. We sit down, you know, I say this is what I like to do. How can I serve them? And as I serve them, I learn something. Yeah, yeah.
So what lessons can you give the young people out there who are probably watching and looking up to you?
So you know, someone is out there, a younger healthcare worker, a younger person who's just wondering, you know, what can they pick out of what I'm talking about here? So I would say 3 things. So first, you have to have really big goals. Yeah, I learned this from President Kibaki, you know, and what President Kibaki did with the big goals, and don't get goals that only you can do. You have to get that, you have to work with other people. Yeah. So that's the first thing. The second thing, once you get that big goal, yeah, the next thing is who are you gonna work with? Yeah, because you'll need help. Yeah, you need to answer several questions like, you know, what am I, you know, who do I want to help? Yeah, what are my gifts? Yeah, what can I uniquely do in this space? You know, you don't want to be just like any other Tom, Dick, and Harry. Yeah, what uniquely can you do? You know, how are you going to, you know, in the next 5 years, what will this place look like? And you should actually, I would like to encourage any young person, and I think my life was really changed when I had this phrase that 32 years is equal to 1 billion seconds. Yeah. When you calculate, you're able to find that 32 years is equal to 1 billion seconds. When I heard that, my mind was blown. Yeah. So you're a young person, you're below 32, you're just wasting your billions of seconds. Yeah. So I would encourage any young person is segment your life into five years. Yeah. Look for something, a cause that is bigger than you. Yeah. And leaders are already there, and work with them, serve them, and look for an opportunity to work under them. So the first one I said is get a big goal that is beyond you. 2, you have to be able to find other people to work with, your peers who challenge you, and also people who are older. Yeah. And 3 is you have to start. Yeah. And you start where you are. Yeah. So sometimes we have so big goals that you so get paralyzed that you can't move. Yeah. So for me, remember when I really wanted to be a hairdresser. That's what I wanted to become. Because I saw it, that's what I knew. But here I was challenged, go become a pharmacist. So I just decided then, okay, that's what I've been thrown. What will I grow in when I go in there? So we started looking at that. So look at places where you can actually go and be faithful in those places. Yeah, you have a boss who stresses you. See what can you grow under that boss? What can you learn? Because the other day you'll become a boss, yeah, and now you'll be stressing other people. So what can you learn and grow under that? And consolidate those years as years of learning and move to the next 5 years, 5 years like that. And you'll be so surprised what you can achieve. And that's why I segmented my leadership lessons into those below 25, between 25 to 30, and beyond 35. Yeah. So you have to break your life into segments and be faithful with that little. You'll be so surprised. The picture, when you look back, will be so clear of what you. Yeah. So that's what I'd like to encourage the young people listening.